and a spire. And also, what else here? Also an infestor pit, I believe. And right here, I'm just gonna pick this up. See how much damage speedlings do actually do to Hellions. Everybody normally thinks like, oh, Hellion versus Zerglings, you're gonna get dominated. Don't get Zerglings. But if you have the speed upgrade, they do a lot of damage. And I'm not macroing too hard right now. I am getting speed for my Overlord because I do want to use them to scout. I want to use them as much as possible. You see, I'm slowly irking my way over. And he's putting down another factory and a starport. I believe he gets some Vikings to do some Overlord harassment. But yeah, here we go. I am getting that infestation pit, 4 infestors. I'm getting this roach warren, and I am getting a spire. The thing about the spire is, if it turns out he actually is not getting mech, and just a purely infantry composition, then Mutalisks are pretty ideal. Ling Mutalisk is pretty ideal as a composition to counter an infantry. So I do like to get that spire up just in case. Plus, it allows me to get a couple Mutalisks out just so I can harass back here and put a little dent in his economy. But yeah, I'm going to be pumping out infestors and roaches as well as a couple mutas, like I said. But the thing about roaches is they're not as we would say in Warcraft 3, they're not as squishy as Hydralisks. And what I mean by that, when dealing with mech, they go down a lot less quickly. They stay alive a lot longer, and they do deal out more damage total to mech because they are able to stay alive. If you play Zerg and you're facing tanks and you have a bunch of Hydralisks, you know what I'm talking about. They are going to die in seconds, especially when there's a Thor or 2 or 3 in that composition. But yeah, still just macroing up. You want to make sure you do have a good amount of drones. You should have about 2 or 3, at least 2 drones per mineral field. So yeah, make sure you have that, because obviously the more minerals you mine, the more units you'll be able to make. I feel like that was just really stupid of me to say right there. But yeah, I'm just still pumping out those roaches and infestors. And the nice thing about roaches is that they are relatively cheap. You can see here 75 minerals and 25 gas. And they only cost 2 food supply. So that is just extremely, like, pound for pound, or mineral for mineral, just one of the most hard-hitting units you can get and most efficient. You can see I'm just going to be harassing, and he already has 3 Thors out. And I'm just going to be running back and forth. I don't really care much if these do die, but it does delay him from pushing to my base, and it does allow me to see what's going on. But I have to mention one very important thing you have to do. Right away, right when your infestation pits goes up, or right when you have the resources, you want to get that mana upgrade. I do forget what it's called, but it does give you enough mana for like a fungal growth right off the bat. And then you want to get Neural Parasite. That is the key to dealing with mech here, is infestors with Neural Parasite, which essentially allow you to control the enemy unit, any enemy unit, and it attacks for you as if it's on in your control. And it's basically the hardest counter there is so far in against mech for Zerg to be able to use. So it's very important. And when you encounter your opponent, it's very important that you micro these well enough so that you don't send them right into battle, because they are very squishy. You're going to be hearing me say squishy a lot, especially with Zerg, and just because it's pretty common for Warcraft 3 lingo. Excuse me. But yeah, like I was saying, it's very important to micro these so that they're not right in the front lines, but as well. You have to micro them so they do get close enough, fast enough, so that the tanks don't snipe them before they can get up, but they are there quick enough to neural parasite these Thors or tanks. And so you have to micro that very well. Um, so the thing about roaches is that they do take a lot of the damage that you need for the time for the infestors to get in there and do their work. And you can see he has gotten really far behind as far as gas goes. And you know, some Terran just think like, oh, I'm getting Mech. This Zerg can't do anything as soon as get 4 Thors out. And then you just surprise them with this. I do see that he killed my Overlord here, or he attacked it rather, and then his Thor was way out here. So I thought, well, if one of his Thors were way out there, maybe all of them are there, and this would be a good time to capitalize if he's not paying attention, because if I can neuroparasite all 4 of these right off the bat, because they're right up here in this army composition, and none of these other units can deal damage before I get there, then I'm golden. But before that happens, he does harass me with these Vikings a little bit, and I just fended off with my queen. I don't know why I brought my Zerglings, and oh, I brought my Zerglings because I thought he might go into land mode. I don't know why I brought my roaches though, but okay. Looks like I am now going to push. Probably would have been a good idea actually to scout. Always a really good idea to scout before you do go balls in like this. But you can see these Zerglings basically just take a lot of the damage. And look at this neuroparasite go down. In a matter of seconds, I have taken over his tank, 3 of his Thors, and I'm about to take this tank as well with this guy right here. And you can see all those Zerglings, what they did, they were left over from when I protected from Hellion harass, I believe. What they did is they took the shots of the siege tanks, which they don't have that great of attack speed. They do have a little bit of time in between each of their attacks, and what they do is that they do slow down the tanks so they have less time to take out or snipe out these infestors. So it's always a good idea to have a couple or even like 30 Zerglings, which isn't a lot in mid to late game. So yeah, try and do that, and it will help a lot, especially if you are facing more tanks. This guy only was able to pump out 2, I believe. But yeah, just trying to get the point across, and just watch what happens from